What is going on, everybody? It's Matt Abong with NASFIGHT Media coming at you guys with another video. You guys already know what time it is. It's time to bring on that boxing. Today we're going to be talking about Terence Crawford and David Avanesyan. It was a very entertaining fight. It was very hard because I was watching multiple fights at different times. There was the Teofimo Lopez fight, the top-ranked card with a lot of young prospects on that fight. Why can't I talk? A lot of young prospects on that fight card. In Madison Square Garden. It was Heisman night. There was a Manny Pacquiao exhibition. There was a UFC event. So a lot of going on. I was trying to watch everything, but at the same time, the Terence Crawford, David Avanesyan fight on BLK Prime. So let's break it down. A lot of people, I honestly say I was surprised that it was split in terms of the feedback from, the fans. I always like to go on Twitter. I know a lot of you guys do also after the fights to see what everybody's saying. Is there positive feedback or negative feedback? And to me, it was pretty balanced. A lot of people were saying, Terence Crawford was supposed to do that. Terence Crawford, he fought a nobody. Earl Spence would never fight a guy like David Avanesyan, blah, 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 all the haters, stuff like that. And then obviously there were guys that like Shakur, Devin Haney, they all said, they talked about Bud in positive ways. Said he was pound for pound, stuff like that. Specifically Shakur and, Keyshawn Davis. There were a lot of voices in boxing that were very, proud of Bud, rightfully so. That left hand and then the right hook that was just short. That's a problem, dude. That's something you can't be standing straight in front of Terence Crawford. I think it was the sixth round stoppage. Yeah, just put his lights out. So it's time to go to sleep. Not taking away anything from David Avanesyan, but I personally expected that to happen. I was like, Terence has to knock this guy out. He's supposed to do that. It was a beautiful shot. Good for Terence Crawford. I think that it didn't, hurt the stock of a Earl Spence fight. It didn't bring down Terence Crawford's stock. If anything, it raised it, not by much, but, just because it's not Earl Spence, it wasn't the fight that we wanted to see, but at least he's being active. I've said this in past videos. I'd rather see Terence Crawford fight, anybody and stay active as opposed to waiting for an Earl Spence fight that might not even happen. Same for Earl. I'd rather see him, stay active against, maybe a tough welterweight or a decent welterweight that's not necessarily that known, preferably well known and has a bit of a resume, as opposed to waiting for the Terence Crawford fight to maybe come into fruition. So I think these guys are doing the right things, staying busy. Obviously Terence Crawford, we didn't expect him to lose that fight, so going into that fight and coming out, you can't say oh my god, Terence Crawford's definitely pound for pound now. I feel like, am I a hater for saying I expected him to do that though? Like respect to David Avanesyan, he was doing all the right things. I think that his game plan was decent, but Terence Crawford, I didn't see Terence Crawford lose a round, to be honest. It's just he's on another level. So I guess if you're not fighting guys that are necessarily Earl Spence, or it's not a Keith Thurman, a Sean Porter who's obviously retired, what's it called, a Virgil, or who was I gonna say, a Boots, Stan Jonas. I don't know. Like it's just hard to look at that fight and say, okay, Terence Crawford's definitely pound for pound number one. Like he was already up there. I don't see how you can like raise his stock anymore. Him and Earl Spence, it's always 1A and 1B. I don't care who you have. That's just my opinion. I think I have both those guys up there. They just need a fight. Hopefully now they can get back to the negotiation process. It goes smoother this time. They've learned from the previous process that took it felt like almost a year. I don't know how long it was. It was definitely over 4 or 5 months, something like that at least. So hopefully they can kind of cover up those holes and make sure that each guy's happy. I'm trying to stay optimistic, but guys, if it didn't happen that one time when they said they were getting close, agreeing to terms and stuff like that, it's hard to say. You have to stay optimistic in these situations because these are big fights and obviously we want them to happen, but we can't make them happen. The price has to be right, the money has to be right, and the terms have to be right, and the rematch clauses, everything, the money, A side, B side, stuff like that, location, if they're still going to do it in Vegas, what day would work, they have to agree on the date. It has to work for both teams, both sides, or else it's just not going to happen. And that's just the way the boxing is. You have to take the good with the bad. We get good fights. To get the great fights, it takes a lot more time. That's how it's always been. It's probably how it's always going to be. But it is what it is, guys. We got to stay patient. Hopefully they get back into it. You know, I expect Errol Spence to take a fight too. You know, maybe he doesn't. I'm hearing some names. I can't say them right now, but if it's true, it's a decent name. But after that, you know, let's get back into this negotiation process. Let's make this fight happen. But let me know in the comments, were you guys impressed with Terence Crawford? Did that raise the stock for the fight for you? Did it raise the stock of Terence Crawford? Let me know in the comments. Appreciate the love and support, guys. Thank you guys, you know, for constantly tuning in. The channel's growing as we speak, so I appreciate it always, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace. That's going to do it for another NASFight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.